Hello, my dear students. How are you? I hope you all are doing well. So, today in class 12, Infotech 802, we are going to talk about the database concepts. And this is the second video in which I'm going to discuss about the relational database and database constraints. So, let's move on the computer screen without taking too much time and let's see the relational database. What is the relational database? And as we discussed earlier about this, in a database, the tables are known as the relation. So first thing you have to understand the EF code. There are so many database models has been developed, but out of this, one database model is very popular and that is known as the relational database model, and that model is developed by EF Code at IBM in 1970. This database, actually in relational database, the informations are going to arrange as relation, and that relation is known as the table. That relation is known as the table. Okay. In a table, each row is represent the unique instance of the data, and that row is the collections of columns, and its column interpret an individual value of that particular row. Like this, if you look at this employee table, which is given here, if you look at this table, you will find there are so many columns are there: the name, employee ID, gender, salary, and the date of birth. Actually, these are the informations which we are going to collect for a particular employee. And when you collect the all information like this, for Neha Mehta, their name is the Neha Mehta, their employee ID is 1121, their gender is the female, and their salary is 20,000, and their date of birth is the 4th of March 1990. Now this complete information becomes the one row, and now likewise, if you collect so many rows and then it's going to store in a tabular format, that is known as the relation, and that is called table also. So now there are some terms which you must be familiar, you must know about that terms. These terms are related to the relation model. The first thing, the row in a table like this Neha Mehta or Paras Bansal complete record, this is known as the tuple here. And the column which is in represent the one particular information which give us the one particular attributes and one particular data item, that is known as the attribute, and the collections of rows means you can say the tabular representations of data, that is known as the relation here. The data type values in each column, that is called domain, means what types of values you are going to store in the data relation in the database or in a particular column, that is known as the domain. And the number of attributes in a relations means the total number of attributes in a relation, that is known as the degree of the relation. And the number of rows in a relation, that is known as the cardinality. So this is the two important terms here. Actually, these all terms are very important in respect of the examination. You must be aware about the what is tuple, what is attribute, what is relation, what is domain, and what is the degree, and what is the cardinality. Degree, most times you will get the questions related to the degree. What is the degree? So the number of columns, number of attributes, number of fields in a table in a relation is known as the degree, as well as number of rows in a relations, that is known as the, and that is known as the number of that is called cardinality. That is called cardinality. Now the next important term is the relation schema. Actually, relation schema is denoted by the attributes. The list of attributes mentioned in a table in a relation, those attributes are known as the relation schema. Now the relation state, actually it is represent the set of tuples in a relations at the point of in a time. Means relation is the combinations. If you are going to look at the relation state, it is totally depend upon the relation schema, and if we put the all values of the relation schema, then it's become the one tuples, and this way you can store the informations of the and finite number of the tuples, the known as the finite number of tuples, that is called n tuples here. Okay. Now, if you look at the employee table, as I already discussed with you, the table name employee is called a relation. That table is having the total three tuples in that, so the degree of table is the three. The table is having the five columns, and that is the known as the attributes. Domain set of the atomic of individual value means the particular value. Suppose salary, if we are going to talk about the salary, so salary is the number, name is the set of characters, employee ID is the set of the four digits, gender is the male or female only. So what is the domain for the gender? If anyone asks, this is a very simple question. So male and female, because these two values are only possible here. Either you give the male or you give the female. Salary is always number, date of birth is always date, but here you might be put some conditions. The gate must be greater than like this year and that year like this. Now, if you look at the degree of the employee table, as I told you, the degree is totally depend upon the number of attributes. And because in this table, the attributes, total number of attributes is 5. So it means the degree of this table is 5 here. Cardinality is totally depend upon the number of tuples. So in this table, there are 3 tuples only. So what is the cardinality of this table? It is only 3. Relation state, I told relation schema is already told you employee means employee tables is having these attributes, so these are the relation schema. And if you look at the relation state, then all the rows which are inserted in this, those becomes the relation state for this table relations. Now there are some more characteristics we must be aware about the relations. While you maintaining the relations and you are writing the tuples, you are putting the records. So there is no importance of the order of the tuple. Means you can put my record first or you can put your record first. There is no means of this. Okay, so we can put the any record at the first position, any record at the second positions. Your relational model is not going to disturb by this way only. The second thing, the ordering of attributes is also no important here. Means you are free to keep the any column at the first position and any column at the last position. Actually, the attribute is only saying that this types of information you supposed to be insert in your table, and tuples is only saying that this is the one instance, this is another instance, this is another instance. So there is no mean of the order here. But one thing is very important here. Two tuples must not be identical. Means their values must not be same. It must be unique at any point of time. At least one column must be different. At least one column must be different. The value of one column must be different. The value in each tuple is the atomic value, means it must be indivisible. It's not like this, you are going to divide, then some values here, some values there. It such is not like that. If you are not knowing the value of any attribute, uh, in a table, in a tuple is not known or not applicable or not available, in that case we are going to put a special value, and that is called the null value. Null is what? Null is the legal empty value in a SQL, in a relational data model. Like this, in what circumstances, in what conditions you are going to give the null? Suppose you don't know about the value. The value is not available at that particular time while you are entering the value for the record, and it is not applicable on that particular person. In all three cases you are supposed to insert null value. No need to put anything like zero, blank space and anything, because zero is also having a value. It's also means like a value. A space is also means like a value. So it's better you give the null there. A relational data model, relational database, that is the database which is based on the relational model. Means all the tables, all the DBMS, which software which is based on this relational model concept, those are known as the RDBMS. Okay. So most popular RDBMS is Oracle, MySQL, IBM DB2. Now we are going to talk about relational model constraints. As I have already discussed, what is the constraints? Actually, constraints is known as the restrictions. Constraints is known as the rules which we are going to apply on the database on the basis of the requirements, on the basis of your needs. Means whatever the attributes are there. Suppose generally what happen while you are deciding about the any relation, or you are deciding about the attributes of that particular relation, the name of the attributes, whatever you are suggesting, it totally depend upon the value and information you want to cater, you want to store in a particular relation. So while you are thinking about the any I attribute for that particular relation, definitely you think about their values also in advance. And sometime you are going to decide the some rules and regulation like this. Okay, while you are entering the employee number, now that employee number must be between this to this. While you are giving the salary, now salary must be this to this. While you are assigning the gender, it always either male or female. So this criteria you are deciding, but how the database is going to know about your thinking, how you are going to match your thinking with the database, means you are going to apply your thinking to the database. It is happens with the help of the constraints. So there are different types of the constraints. A constraint which is apply on a particular column, on a particular attribute, on a particular field. Those are known as the domain constraint. And domain constraints always tell us about what types of values are going to be stored or what types of values are going to be kept in a particular attribute, in a particular column. In case of you are violating the any rules, any regulations, then it is called violations of constraints. Like this, if you are saying the employee ID must be 4-digit number, but someone is given the 12321, so there is a number of digit is extra. Someone is using the A234, so it is using the alphabet. So these all are going to violate the rules here. Now the key constraints, the domain constraints, you understand better, I hope so. Now we are going to talk about the key constraints. What is the key constraints? While you are talking about the key constraint, you must be know about the super key. What is the super key? Super key is the set of values in a relations for which no two tuples in a relation state have the same combination of values. Means what? Means suppose I'm going to combine the some attributes, and then I'm going to check the value of the each row, each tuples, and if I'm able to find out still the each tuples are the unique, each tuples are uniquely identified, we are able to identify the tuples easily, uniquely identifiable, then those set of attributes is known as the super key. Those set of attributes is known as the super key. This is the first rule you have to understand. Means while you are deciding about the super key, you always think about the uniqueness of the tuples, uniqueness of the rows here. By default, every columns of the table is known as the super key by default. Means if I'm going to combine the all columns all together and then I'm going to look at the rows, then I am able to find out that each row is having the unique value. Doesn't mean it is depend upon the one value, one column only, and it is the set of the values. That does not mean, but overall that is the unique value there. Okay, but sometimes what's happened, we try to find out the at least one, means every relations must have at least one super key, which is the either combination of all attributes or it is the set of one. It is the one attributes only. So if you look at the relations employee, if you look at the relation employee, you are able to find out initially the all attributes are added and this is the default super key as I told you just now. Then name, employee ID, date of birth, still it is giving the unique combination, unique value, employee ID, gender, salary, still you are getting the unique value due to employee ID, name, employee ID, gender, still you are getting this. Even employee ID is individually is also capable to give us the unique value. Okay, so it means these all are the super keys. But if you look at the gender and salary, general and salary is never giving you the unique value. Like this, you look at the male 25,000, female 20,000. You think this, it's okay. They both are giving the unique value here. Both combinations are giving value. Now look at the third row. What has happened? Again, it is female 20,000. It means the two rows are having the same identical value. So it's not giving the unique value here. It means gender and salary cannot be super key. If you're going to include the employee ID here, if you're going to employee ID here, then it's become the super key. Then it's become the super key. Now, what is the next point you have to understand about the key is the minimum super key. Means the particular attributes which is capable to give the unique value either alone or set of some attributes, those are known as the key here. Means no need to remove anything from there. It's individually they are able to they will able to maintain the uniqueness of the records and uniqueness of the tuples. That is called the key here. Like this in this table, if you look at this, the employee ID is always the unique, give the unique value. Okay, so if you remove name and gender, then you are getting the employee ID only, and now employee ID is able to give you the unique value and no more removals are possible here. So this particular ID is known as the primary key. This is known as the primary key. Okay, in some table you are able to find out that more than one key is having, more than one attribute is having the this features. Like this, if you look at the person table, Aadhaar number, PAN, voter ID, these all are the unique value. Your Aadhaar number is different, my Aadhaar number is different. Your PAN card is different, my PAN card is different. Your voter ID is different, my voter ID is different. Means it's always unique. Might be possible your name is also Anjeev, my name is Anjeev here. Yeah, might be you know someone else whose name is the Anjeev there only. Yeah, whatever the your name, by that is your same name, you will be able to find out the someone else also. So this is possible. But the Aadhaar number, voter card, voter ID number, and PAN card number, this is always unique. These are the unique. So these are the super key here. These are the key. It's work as a key here. Now we are going to talk about the candidate key. What is the candidate key? A key that is described just above. These all key of a relation is known as the candidate key. Means those are capable to give you the unique value either individually or with the combination with the help of the other attributes. So those keys are called candidate key. But as just we discussed, in an employee table, there is an employee ID that is always unique individually that is able to differentiate that role. So such a key becomes the primary key. Such a attributes becomes the primary key. So from a candidate key, what we are doing, we are getting the only one attributes or at least one attributes or two attributes that's alone capable to make the tuples differentiate that different means unique table tuples they are able to give us. So those are called primary key. There is a one more term is here. It's not mentioned in this book. That is called alternate key. So what is the alternate key? Out of candidate key, suppose you have taken the one or two attributes as a primary key, but still some candidate keys are available there. So these keys, those keys which are not selected as a primary key, those becomes the alternate key. Okay. Null value constants. What is the null value constants? It is required sometimes when you want your items does not contain any null value. Means a particular column does not allow to keep the null value. For that purpose, we are defining the not null value constants, and it is generally known as the not null. Entity integrity constants. What is this? It is a specify that the primary key of relations cannot have the null value. Means we are not able to give the null value to the primary key, and the reason behind this, the primary key does not allow the duplicate values, and if you are giving the null value more than one record, then duplicacy occurs here. So due to this reasons, you are not able to give the null value to the primary key, and it is also known as the entity integrity constants. There are referential integrity constants. Actually, the referential integrity constants is used to, it is specified between the two relations. It is specified between the two relation, and it is known as the foreign key constraints. So foreign key constraints is used to establish the relationship between two tables. Like this, your admission tables is having your admission number there, as well as your report card is also having the admission number. So through admission number, report card tables is not going to mention your name and address and father's name, etc., etc. They are only mention the your admission number, a name for the time, and your score and everything there. But with the help of the admission number, they are able to fetch the data from the admission table, and they are able to get the all your personal details like your father's name, mother's name, and etc., etc., which is required to be printed on your report card. So now that these two tables are going to the relate, R1 is the set of attributes in R1 that refers to the primary key in other relation R2. Means what? The one column that is as a primary key is available in another table. So same name column we are going to make a foreign key, and through this we are going to relate. So R1 is called the referencing relations and R2 is called referenced relation here. And that's referential integrity constants holds from R1 to R2. The main purpose is this to you are going to check that the data entered in one relation is consistent with the data entered the another relation. So to maintain the consistency, we are doing this like this in department table. The department ID is the primary key here, but in a teacher table, the department ID is the foreign key here. Teacher ID is the primary key, but department ID is the foreign key here. So through department ID, you try to connect with the department table, and you want to get the name, department name, and you want to get the number of teachers with the help of the department ID. And while you are maintaining the teacher record, you want to say that this teacher belongs to that particular department. So for that purpose, we are not going to mention the name of the department here. We are only storing the department ID inside the teacher relations. Now, sometimes it's happened that the both columns, the primary key and foreign key, both are in a same table. That is also possible. This is called the self-referential table. Self-referential. So in this, what happened? The same table means having the suppose one ID and another ID like this your supervisor ID. You are working somewhere and your supervisor ID. Your supervisor is also employee. So in an employee table, there is a supervisor ID. So might be possible the supervisor ID is already entered as an employee ID there. So they both are going to correlate here. Like this in this table residence, you can see residence ID and the neighbor's ID. So neighbor ID, neighbor is also resident here. So through this we are want to interconnect. So this is called self-referential tables here. So now for today, this is over here. In the next class, in the next video, I'm going to discuss with you about the structure query language. And this for SQL, it is required you must be install the MySQL on your computer, on your laptop. And you haven't installed, then please watch my another video in which I have already discussed how to install the MySQL. So the link of that videos I'm going to give in this description, in the video descriptions. From there you are able to get it. So if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe it. If you have not liked my video, please like it. And if you have not shared my video, please share it. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.